So, my name is Crystal Rawls, and first, I'm just going to start by thanking you all so much for joining us here today. Today, we are having our Digital Advancement and Opportunity Regional Summit. And to open us up, to start us off, is our VP of IT, Dr. Justin Gamage. Dr. Gamage, come on up.
Good morning. Try it one more time. Good morning. So I'd like to welcome you all to today's summit. As stated, my name is Justin Gamage. I have the pleasure of serving as interim vice president of information technology. And so today's summit is exciting for a number of different reasons. One, this summit represents I think it becomes a clear example of us, how we fulfill our mission here at CSUDH. Our commitment here are for students, of course, but also our strategic partners. So when you look around at this space, we take pride in terms of serving our community. I know in many of our spaces, community can be defined as in different ways, but when you look around this room, you can kind of make it clear in terms of what it looks like for a community, which includes not only education, but government, private, public sectors, but also industry. And so as we band here together in this particular space, I think it demonstrates our commitment in terms of eliminating the digital divide that we see here. And also it illustrates our commitment in terms of preparing not only our students for the future, but also our community, as well as the entrepreneurs, as well as different sectors that make up our community. So I'll start by giving you all a round of applause for creating the space for activities like this to happen. So on behalf of our president here at Cal State Dominguez Hill, Thomas A. Parham, as well as his executive leadership team, our faculty, our staff, and our students, I'd like to welcome you all to this space. And for those who are live streaming online, also welcome. I wish you all can see the room. The room is filled with people that are dedicated to the work that they carry out and their commitment in terms of serving their constituents. So for us here at Dominguez Hills, we serve at the intersection, as I stated before, between education, government, community, and our strategic partners in industry. And with that intersection, what we seek to create is a pipeline to serve our students, to be able to connect them not only to industry and jobs as they leave here, but also for them to be change agents and transform not only the spaces that they occupy, the communities that they live in, but hopefully the world. And so with that in mind, I know that my welcome here isn't the work. My welcome here is created by the work that you've all have done in your different spaces. And so I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. I just want to acknowledge those who have kind of created this space, Dr. Rawls being one of them with the Workforce Integration Network, as well as the County of Los Angeles, as well as the County of Los Angeles and the various institutions that are here present representing your respective institutions and organizations. So I'll stop there and it's my pleasure to introduce Derek Mims, who serves as the interim vice president of government and community relations here. And he'll start by kicking the program off and creating a framing for us as we get into the work. So without further ado, Derek Mims.
Well, good morning and almost afternoon to everyone. Like Dr. Gamage said, I'm Derek Mims. I'm the interim associate vice president of external relations. And external relations is just that. You can imagine we deal with groups outside of the university to build partnerships, collaborations, and things that show how the community, like Dr. Parham likes to say, we're not just in the community, but we're of the community. And you being here today shows no better example of that than what you've been doing here with our campus and making things work. And just like Dr. Gamage, you know, you got to give kudos to Dr. Rawls and how great she is, what a great job and what a great network she has put together throughout LA County. It makes my job a lot easier. One of the things I do is I do advocacy, which means I go to Sacramento, I go to Washington, D.C., and I have to tell them all the great work we do in the different districts, whether I'm dealing with Congresswoman Maxine Waters, if I'm dealing with State Senator Laura Richardson. They want to know what kind of impact, what are you doing in my district? How do you make a difference where my constituents are concerned? This right here is an outstanding example of what that's all about. And I like a little bragging points real quick. Dominguez Hills, we're very proud of our roots. You know, we come from out of the Watts Rebellion in 1965. We were scheduled actually to be in Palos Verdes in the 1960s. But after the 65 rebellion, they made a great change to serve the South LA, the Watts area, and the South Bay. And one thing about our roots, you know, we have a very strong civil rights roots right there. Today, we have actually 6 elected mayors. We're the only university in the state of California that I know of that have 6 elected mayors. We have Rex Richardson in Long Beach, Karen Bass in LA, Emma Sharif in Compton. We got Luna Davis Holmes right here in Carson, Alex Vargas there in Hawthorne, and we have Robert Puller Miles in Lawndale. So we have a lot to be proud of at Dominguez Hills. And that's happening today, right now. And it's all because of great work. It's how we feed our students and how our students come back and feed their community. It's a great example of that. And we're proud of that fact and so forth. So thank you all for being here, for making a big difference. And I have a charge to be a part of the program and introduce some outstanding, great people who have been making this work and succeed. And it's really sad. I'm sure you guys spoke about it already. It's really terrible what the federal government is right now. Considering where we were headed, the trajectory that we were on, that you guys have built, was fantastic. We have to find a way to save this. I've been talking to Dr. Rawls. What can we do? How can we maintain it? My office is here to try to make that work in that capacity because we can't lose this. This is just fantastic and great. So we need to find ways and space. It's not easy. It's a big challenge. We all know that, but I love it. I mean, I've been working in the community all my life, and I just love what I see before me today. So right now I'm introducing some outstanding people. One is Rebecca Kamuma. I hope I pronounced Kauma. Come forward. And also Michael O. Oh, that's you. All right. Outstanding people to take over, and they're going to lead us the rest of the way. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
All right. Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Isn't it amazing to be on a college campus? I'm so excited. The energy, maybe not in this room yet, but definitely downstairs and in the building. Super excited. Welcome to the Digital Advancement and Opportunity Regional Summit. That is a mouthful, but welcome. First, I want to thank Dr. Rawls and the whole Cal State Dominguez Hills team for bringing us together today, the amazing spread, the amazing location, and that energy. And thanks to all of you for coming, because without you, I would be very lonely here today. And also thank you for your profound digital equity efforts. As Derek said, my name is Michael O. I am the director of the Internal Services County Department in the County of Los Angeles. If you are a rational and logical person, you may be wondering, why is this dude from this obscure county department up here right now talking to me? And that is a great question. The Internal Services Department, or ISD, is a general services department that supports our fellow county departments. For example, we procure about $1.5 billion a year. We maintain 45 million square feet of county space. We provide IT services. We deploy EV charging stations. And that's only a little bit of what we do. But today I'm here with you because we've been charged by our great Board of Supervisors to lead the county's efforts in digital equity. So we have work such as the Delete the Divide initiative, the Community Broadband Network, and the Intergovernmental Broadband Coordinating Committee. Partnering with many of you in this room, these initiatives are providing affordable access to broadband and devices, improving digital literacy, and creating opportunities for civic participation for our communities, like this one. And yet, we have so much more to do and so much further to go. Our work will not be done until all of our residents have access to affordable internet and the digital skills to thrive in our connected society. But as Derek mentioned, even as we work towards such a goal, we are experiencing more barriers ahead, whether it's a lack of funding and resources, or the ongoing evolution of large language models and AI systems. At times, I know that these barriers seem insurmountable, and these systems seem inevitable. Well, I'm here to tell you that nothing is insurmountable and nothing is inevitable if we work together. I remain optimistic because I know we have agency, and I know together we have the power to change what seems like destiny. As we work through this day, the rest of this week and beyond, my charge to you is to help us set the roadmap for a more equitable future. Let's ensure that our systems and policies are designed and deployed to serve communities, not corporations, to be inclusive, not extractive. Let us make sure that technology serves us and we keep people at the center of everything that we do. All right, thank you for everything that you all do, and we look forward to developing this roadmap and embarking on this amazing journey together. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Digital Inclusion Week! My name is Rebecca Kawuma, and I am the first ever Director of Digital Equity for the County of Los Angeles. And it is okay to clap for that. So just to go ahead and set the stage and to provide us with some grounding on why we're here today, I'm going to be providing a high-level overview of what Digital Inclusion Week is and why we are taking the moment to celebrate in community with everyone. So first and foremost, Digital Inclusion Week is an annual week of celebration where we all come together and promote our collective digital equity efforts. And I want to take the time to acknowledge that literally every single digital equity leader and practitioner is celebrating in community with us all across the nation. And there are about 450 events that are taking place this week, which is super exciting and amazing. So let's definitely clap to that. And I want to also ground us today in really understanding what the theme is. So as you'll see when you look at the screen here, our theme is community-driven digital futures. And I really like that theme. And I think that also embodies why we're also here today in really making sure that we're centering community in all of the work that we're doing and making sure that the work is obviously rooted in community-driven solutions and making sure that we're collaborating with community as we're engaging in our digital equity roadmap development process. So we really want to make sure that community is the center of the work. And I also want to take the time to acknowledge that we have our digital equity community ambassador here in the room, Maria Skelton. If you could raise your hand, Maria, so everybody can see you. She is here to ensure that we're incorporating the lived experiences of those that are impacted by the digital divide. So thank you, Maria, for being here and coming all the way from Van Nuys to be in community with us today. So please take the time to continue to engage with your colleagues, and we'll obviously continue to celebrate National Digital Inclusion Week with all of you here today. And as we get ready to transition into our next section, I am happy to introduce Carolyn Tarosis, who is the Senior Deputy of Workforce Development and Economic Development for Office of Supervisor Holly Mitchell. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just on behalf of Supervisor Mitchell, who is our second district supervisor, if you don't know, she represents everything from Koreatown all the way down to Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, with all of South LA included. This is a pivotal issue for her. For our office, access to broadband to the internet is a moral issue. It absolutely should not be a luxury, but a basic right that every household has access to. And so we are just so grateful to our internal services department, to our partners at Cal State Dominguez Hills, and everyone who's been involved with the Intergovernmental Broadband Coordinating Committee and the work that you all are doing here today. So thank you so much. I'm also really pleased to report that on Tuesday, our Board of Supervisors officially declared it National Digital Inclusion Week. And so we have a proclamation that we would like to present to Rebecca and our Internal Services Department. Very nice, very beautiful. Here we go. And I'm going to just quickly read off what we explicitly are declaring. So October 6th through 10th, community-driven digital futures. Whereas broadband internet services are essential infrastructure for the 21st century and play an important role in providing access to knowledge and opportunities for communities locally and across the nation. And whereas digital equity ensures that all communities have the information technology capacity needed for full participation in society, democracy, and the economy. And whereas the County of Los Angeles is committed to advancing digital inclusion to ensure that every resident has access to and use of broadband internet services, internet-enabled devices, digital literacy and skills training, hardware and software technical support services, and applications and online content designed to enable and encourage self-sufficiency, participation, and collaboration. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles hereby recognizes October 6th through 10th, 2025 as Digital Inclusion Week, encouraging staff, stakeholders, and residents to join in recognition by promoting digital inclusion and closing the digital divide. And we have all 5 supervisors who have signed this. So I want to present this to Rebecca and Michael and the entire ISD team. Thank you. And we also have, here, I'm going to get the other one. So kind. Thank you, Michael. We also have a second scroll that we'd like to present. And really, I want to thank Dr. Crystal Rawls for all of her hard work on behalf of the university and really the entire region. We are so lucky to have her as an advocate here. Dr. Crystal Rawls is the director of the Workforce Integration Network, WIN, at Cal State Dominguez Hills. She leads one of the region's most impactful models for aligning education, technology, and opportunity. Under her leadership, the WIN initiative has distributed thousands of devices, created new digital career pathways, and connected communities to lasting economic mobility. So important to us. Nowhere is that impact more visible than right here in Supervisor Holly J. Mitchell's 2nd District, where more than 1,400 residents and small businesses have directly benefited from these programs, gaining access to devices, digital training, and new workforce opportunities. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Crystal Rawls, who will share how data, partnerships, and community design are driving inclusive digital transformation across Los Angeles County. And so I'd like to present this to her in recognition of dedicated service to the affairs of the community and for the civic pride demonstrated by numerous contributions for the benefit of all of the residents of Los Angeles County. Oh yeah. And I think she would like all of her colleagues to come up who have worked with her on this.
Derek, Justin, if you would please. Sir?
Do you want me to get out of the picture? Okay.
Okay. Hey, Carolyn? Where's Carolyn?
Well, yeah. Carolyn, do you want to be in this? Okay. Thank you all so much. Supervisor Mitchell is so appreciative of all of your work. This institution has done incredible work. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Rawls.
All right, folks, who took the clicker? Hi, welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful scroll. And the previous slide, let's see if we can get back there. The previous slide is a slight saying, not slight, it's important saying that as we have found in our community, things getting tougher, resources getting thinner, we really have to think about how are we going to get through this? And collaboration, that's how we get through it. We get through it together. Many of my partners are in this room. My Entrenu partners, I see you back there. My Hoklo partners, I see you over there. Workbay, so many, Mary, so many of our partners are here with us today. This belongs to all of us. I might have the scroll with my name on it, but I did not distribute those devices alone. Collaboratively, we did a great job. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it was that we did. So, first, what we did was we distributed quite a few devices in the community. But in our distribution of devices, our interns were charged. So we hired a bunch of interns. Our interns were charged with helping our community partners get these devices out into the community. So there was a lot of upskilling of our community partners as well as our students. And so one of the projects that our students worked on is our career exploration, our student career exploration program from our chancellor's office. Our students do the data analysis. We clean data sets, right? These are the skills that students will need to be competitive in our economy, right? In our local economy. So I just want to shout out a few of my interns, Eric Carmona, Raul Acevedo, and Kaylee Hernandez. Those are our information technology and data analytics interns. And as you look at these slides, I want you to note, right, especially where we're communicating direct words from our students. This student said, these insights opened up a wide range of paths for me. That's the beginning of our tomorrow, folks, when our students can see themselves in our collective future. So what is mapping? That's what I do. Mapping workforce development for social impact. What does that look like? Well, it looks like me and the work, right? So I mentioned that our interns do a lot of this work, and in a moment, they'll tell you, our current interns, what they're doing. But I want to tell you a little bit about what we did with the CMC grant. The CMC Connecting Minorities Community Grant was issued $5.3 million to Cal State Dominguez Hills in order to close the digital divide. We had 24,983 intern hours across 6 different pathways. These students, their labor helped support the work that got that 3,803 laptops distributed. A lot of that happened from our digital ambassadors from HOCLA. They happened at EntreNou. Our community partners embraced our interns, and in turn, we were able to embrace the community. So you'll see we distributed tablets, some Wi-Fi. We had 154 interns come through our program, and to date, that we know of, because some of them did not update their LinkedIn, to date, we know that 89 of them have gone on to positive next steps. So, and I say positive next steps because some people went to jobs. That's what they wanted to do. Some people have next internships, and some people were going on to advanced education, right, to master's programs. So we helped them move positively. So that means whatever they wanted is how we determine success. So we created, like I mentioned, 10 pathways. And when we created those pathways, we had student interns collecting data the whole time, right? And we learned some things. One thing is that most of our participants were Medi-Cal and SNAP recipients. So they didn't have to choose between eating and getting a device. We helped in that area. We also, as you see from the slide, we also saw that 77% are under $60,000 living in LA County, right? These are the numbers that make up this divide. So our top digital literacy interests were basic skills, Google Suite, and Microsoft Office. And when you think about that and how often you use these tools every day, you can see that this could be really challenging if you couldn't do your work with these very basic tools. We also worked with some small businesses. And what we learned is they too were having some capital issues, right? The need for capital in order to hire. So while they're intending to hire, they need more capital support. So as we're looking at all of this data, our students put it together, they do the analysis themselves. We know that this work is not done. And we're relying on you, as always, our community, to help us get it done. So I am now going to pass this off to our wonderful, wonderful interns. And I just quick note and shout out to our partners, Lightcast, Workbay, and Digital Credentials Consortium, who helped us make this happen, right? There's a badging organization. They help us make sure that our credentials are verifiable and that they are transportable, right? You can take them where you want. And our Workbay platform allows our community and our students to explore jobs. And that platform is open to the public. That is our campus work to uplift our community. And Lightcast is our labor market information partner. And so you'll see on the slide, and we will be happy to provide you with the copy of the links, mapping micro-credentials. So those of you who are interested in micro-credentials, we will be happy to help you navigate that space as well. So you've heard enough from me. Now we're going to hear from the folks who are important to keep us on time. I'm gonna skip a little bit of that. And I'm going to ask Hubert from our Educational Opportunity Program to come on up and introduce all of our interns.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Awesome. Cool. I love the energy. So my name is Hubert De Leon Sick. I'm actually an academic advisor here with the Educational Opportunity Program. The EOP program is located across all CSUs. Our main goal is to provide opportunities to students who are low income and first generation. And we do this in a variety of ways by providing mentorship, by providing academic advising, by providing financial support, and most importantly, by providing guidance to our students. Right? So we provide everything for our students to be able to graduate throughout their higher education and graduate with a diploma. And we've been super successful at doing this. One of the things that we've noticed throughout our careers, throughout the need of our students is the need for career development, right? So earlier this year, we reached out to 385 EOP students to gauge their interest in applied learning. We didn't just ask if they wanted to work. We asked why they wanted to participate. Nearly 80% of our students said that they wanted to build hands-on skills. About half wanted to clarify their career direction. And 47% emphasized community service, meaning that they wanted to grow their abilities while also giving back to their community. About a third highlighted mentorship and networking, reinforcing that structured exposure to professionalism is vital for our students, taking their first steps towards a career. For me, these voices reflect what EOP stands for, right? Our students are not waiting for opportunity. They're asking for a framework that turns intent into experience. So that's why we're launching a Scope EOP Workforce Program pilot, placing 30 to 40 students in roles that blend learning, contribution, and mentorship. And to show what that looks like in action, I'd like to introduce one of our EOP students, Rebecca Rodriguez, who's also a participant of our pilot program, to join us and bring a little bit more detail in terms of what this training looks like for her. So if we can please clap it up to introduce Rebecca.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rebecca Rodriguez. I am a Community and Human Service intern and also Digital Navigator intern. I work alongside with Elizabeth Ponce. Today, we had our distribution. We are helping people, communities, and our students that are part of EOP to help them engage with more digital literacy skills by providing these laptops to them. In the meantime, we're putting this work to put into practice today. Our team on the second floor, if you look over, we're gathering partner input and we want to publish a guide by the end of the year. We're making sure every student and community member not only receive technology, but understands how to use it efficiently. For me, being part of this project means helping people build confidence and connection in the digital world. Now I want to share how our operations and project management, Cheyenne Patel and Monica Patterson from WIN Project and Operations team. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Shayan Patel. I'm part of the project and operations management team here at WIN, and my work focuses on data integrity, removing personally identifiable information, tracking deliverables and timelines for toolkit assets, alongside my teammate Karen Sandoval, who checked a lot of you guys in. She is mapping out the largest group of information technology interns, and we're ensuring that every process connects smoothly from data to deployment.
Hi everyone, I'm Monica Patterson. What my job entails is I coordinate content assembly, manage approvals, and version control for the Regional Digital Equity Toolkit. The 5 C's, clarity, communication, collaboration, commitment, consistency helps guide the approach to organizing and refining project materials after it's closed. Together, our team ensures WIN digital equity work stays structured, transparent, and scalable. The toolkit will also help future community or organizations replicate WIN success and expand digital equity across LA County. Thank you.
And now to share how our story is communicated through outreach and digital recognition, please welcome Delicia Barnes from the Marketing, Communication, and Public Relations team.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Hello, guys. My name is Delicia Barnes, and I'm an intern here at WIN. I'm working with the Marketing, Communications, and Public Relations team, and our main focus is mapping the experience of our interns in the STEM outreach here at CSUDH, my apologies. We're looking at the applied learning we're learning here at DH and making sure that in the outside world, we are gaining those real world skills and opportunities. Together with Emily and Cheyenne, we are doing marketing research and collecting organizational data and mapping the tasks to ONET to prove that our classroom knowledge is actually providing real-world skills. Now, let's move on to some other departments. First, the Director of Esports, which is Michael Butchmiller. My apologies, Kevin, my apologies.
We have the clicker still. I lost it. It's all good. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Buckmiller. I'm the Director of Esports here at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Hopefully, we'll have the slide presentation. There we go. Perfect. I got a limited time with you all, so hopefully go over everything. But also on your way in, you may have seen our lab space downstairs. It's right before the elevators. It's off to the right-hand side. So please stop by if you want to see more information about us. Our students are happy to give tours as well. But a little bit about esports. Let me just get through all the info so it clicks up here. All these pillars. Awesome stuff. Okay, so esports at its core is competition in video games. And that's really our hook and our draw. And what's really unique about esports and video games is that it has no, like your background, your socioeconomic status, your race, ethnicity, even physical capabilities have no impact on your ability to play esports. So we have a really well-rounded group of individuals. We work within our 5 pillars of esports to support our students. Our lab space is free to use for them as well. We don't charge per hour or anything like that. We've got 38 gaming PCs, a broadcast booth, and the pillars that we operate within are competition. Of course, we compete nationally with other schools. Right now, we have 11 championships in those competitions, although winning is not everything. We have an academics and research component, building towards a minor right now in esports. Our community engagement, I have a whole slide on. The entertainment piece, everything you see, including photographs, brochures, Twitch streams, social media content is all student generated and created. And then career development, we do a lot of panels and workshops, resume building seminars, things like that. Last academic year, we served over 1,100 students here on campus. The actual department was established in 2022, and it actually started as a 3-person student club in 2017. So from 3 people up to just about 1,200. Going into the next slide here. This is our Advancing Digital Equity slide. So we have some images here. This is our CIF event that we hosted. Students running live broadcast with programs such as After Effects, Premiere, Photoshop, OBS Studios, and the Microsoft Office Suite. This is our iPads races that we've impacted here on campus. And then what really we're proud of is our retention rates. So you may hear in higher ed that retention is a bit of a struggle lately, especially enrollment and that side of things. And we're really excited to say that if a student walks into our front doors and checks in, they have a 90 to 97% chance of taking a class next semester when they're expected to. So really exciting stat there. And then this is our community impact. So one of our success stories, a couple years ago, we had a student club president, Alex here. She was more introverted, scared of public speaking, didn't really find her way on campus, found esports, found her peer network, which is now a lifelong peer network for her, actually gave speeches at the ribbon cutting ceremony in front of crowds bigger than this, and now works for HyperX as a product manager. So she got a career offered to her before she even graduated with her degree. We also work with the CIF, so California Interscholastic Federation, high school sports, also doing esports. We've now hosted their competition twice on campus. Hopefully we'll be hosting the third as well. Again, mostly student run streams that are student broadcast. And we had over 400 high schools that competed in that tournament that then resulted in the finals that took place here on campus. And then finally, our neighbors up at Compton Unified, we work with their community events. So Steamfest, Gear Up Compton, we work in those programs and operations as well. So with that, I believe I'm passing it off to Bernie, DHTV, who I think went around somewhere. Here he is, awesome. Talking about DHTV and our production.
Hi, I'm Bernie, just in case you didn't know. I'm part of the media production group here on campus, and we're affectionately known as DHTV. And, you know, for the past 35 years, DHTV has worked with equity to ensure students can gain access and benefit from the educational resources, regardless of their circumstances. So we work directly with faculty to create high-quality educational content from course materials, expert witness interviews, to demonstrations and documentaries. We distribute this content through YouTube, Panopto, cable TV, Roku, and Fire TV, which ensures that our educational resources reach students wherever they are, whenever they need it. So DHTV advances this digital equity in 3 ways. First, multiple access points. Our multi-platform distribution from smartphones to television removes technological barriers so that all students can access the same high-quality content. Second, diverse learning formats. Our multimedia approach supports all types of learners, ensuring that more students can successfully engage with the course material and content. Third, democratized content creation. This is where students aren't just consumers, they become creators. They gain professional media skills essential in today's digital economy. Let me share with you 3 examples of DHTV in action. Our journalism program partnership transforms students into content creators. Students work with faculty and media professionals to produce newscasts that air across multiple platforms. They develop critical skills while serving their community with real journalism that has impact beyond the classroom. And through our workforce integrated network and digital media arts collaboration, students create actual, authentic promotional materials used by campus programs. They apply their classroom content to genuine scenarios and see the direct impact of their work on the community. Our streaming infrastructure validates student achievement. When productions air on our system, students know their work isn't just being graded, it's reaching their community. This visible, enhanced motivation creates meaningful connections between the academic work and community service. DHTV demonstrates that educational media is about equity, access, and empowerment. By providing multiple learning platforms, accommodating diverse learning styles, and enabling students to become creators, we're advancing digital equity and creating lasting community impact. When students can learn on their terms and see their work making a real difference, that's when education transforms lives. And now I guess I'm introducing. Who am I introducing? Oh, Mike. Here comes Mike.
Hi, everybody. I am going on right before the break, so I will do my best to keep it 3 to 5 minutes as promised. Just rewinding a second there. Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Carlin. I'm a faculty member here and chair of our liberal studies program. So I support about 400 future elementary teachers in our undergraduate liberal studies degree program. And I'm also the director of our SNAP Institute for Technology and Education. Little history, context of our institute. We were made possible by a large gift from the folks at Snap Inc. and a national consortium called CS for All, whose goal is really to support equitable computer science and technology education in teacher pathways so that our future teachers are getting the training that they need here. And when they go out to support future students, then those students are getting access to technology education, including computer science, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data science, and all those other wonderful pieces of computer science education. Similar to what Dr. Gamage was talking about at the beginning today, our goal is also not just to prepare highly qualified teachers, but to prepare teachers who can go out in transformative ways to not just excel in the systems, but help reshape those educational systems in the school around us and reimagine what those education pathways can look like for our local elementary students. Since we've started, we've served over 1,000 local elementary students and over 400 local pre-service teachers who then go on to serve thousands of students in their future careers. In terms of how we advance digital equity, we do that in 3 different ways. One is through curriculum development. So making sure that our undergrads here in the College of Education are getting a robust technology embedded education that prepares them for the classroom and the tools and knowledge and skill set they need to bring technology integration into their future classroom. We also work with a lot of local, state, and national partners to make that work happen. We partner with the City of Carson, we partner with Los Angeles Unified, we partner with Hawthorne School District, and many other local partners to make this work possible. And then we conduct research on our works. We're applying for grants, we're publishing in peer-reviewed journals, we're presenting at national conferences to make sure that what we're doing here in the LA context can also be shared and generalized to other national contexts with others who are doing the same and similar work. Just 3 examples to share of community impact, or 2 examples to share in terms of what that looks like. Like I mentioned, we work with the City of Carson. We've spent the last 2 years providing after school and summer programming for the city, where we bring out our student workers to different parks departments around Carson to provide very reduced cost. If any of you are parents like I am, we're talking $10 or $20 for 8 weeks of programming in robotics and coding. So we rotate around the different park sites, provide that curriculum and support for our local, typically 7 to 12-year-olds, so that they can get those foundational computer science experiences, robotics experiences, and see that this is a pathway that's really open for anyone. It's not reserved to, there's these stereotypes that computer science is about sitting alone in a basement coding, staring at a dark screen. And we're really trying to break a lot of those stereotypes and show that computer science can be collaborative, it can be joyful, it can be relevant to solving local community problems as well, and it can be fun. One of our other partnerships is with 186th Street Elementary, just a few minutes down the road in South District of Los Angeles Unified. We've spent the last 4 years, we're entering the 5th year of partnership with them, where we bring out 50 to 60 of our future teachers out to the school to lead a series of events for kindergarten, 2nd grade, 4th grade, serving hundreds of students there every year with these hands-on robotics and coding activities. So we're always looking for other partners and ways to continue to expand and grow. Would love to talk to more of you about that, but I think I'm passing it to a 5-minute break. Back to Dr. Rawls. Thanks, everybody.
So we are going to give you a little break. I got some wonderful news this morning, so I'm going to share it with you. Apparently in 2026, the CSU is going to be accepting high school students immediately, like automatically. And that is amazing because if you've ever had to do an application for the CSU, you know how amazing that is. So we are going to welcome you all as you come to CSUDH, hopefully, and understand that we have opportunities here and we're looking forward to your future as well. So folks, housekeeping, restrooms are here and to the far end. If there are some more snacks, please grab them. We will return to our program in approximately 5 minutes to hear more from our wonderful digital navigator teams.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Ponce, a community and human services intern with the EOP Workforce Program. I'm part of the digital navigator team. Before the break, we highlighted how CSUDH is advancing digital equity across our region. The work continues right now with our laptop distribution and at Mancia's Courtyard, where students and community members are receiving new devices and personalized digital skills support from our team. We're especially thankful to our partners at Delete the Divide, who generously contributed 25 new devices to support this event and expand access for learners who need it most. Their investment strengthens, give it up. Their investment strengthens our mission and amplifies our reach across Los Angeles County. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the partners leading this critical work, the Delete the Divide team, Sabra Johnson and Jesse Nolan, and the HACLA Digital Ambassador Team, Catherine Romo and ADL Monroy. Together, they'll share how collaboration and commitment are transforming digital access into opportunity.
Hello. Oh. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Romo, Program Development Coordinator for the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, or HACLA for short. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you so much to Dr. Rawls and Rebecca and to all those that made this summit and these digital inclusion efforts possible. The Digital Ambassadors Program is a resident-driven digital inclusion and workforce development initiative led by HACLA under the Strategic Initiatives Department, led initially by Alicia Villalta, who couldn't be here today as she is in Austin, Texas, completing an AmeriCorps training. This is a new program that she'll be running in HACLA. So the Digital Ambassadors Program was built to empower residents to not only gain digital literacy skills, but also become community leaders who help others access technology. The core mission of the program is to bridge the digital divide by equipping Los Angeles residents with the skills, tools, and confidence they need to thrive in a technology-driven world. What makes this program so special is really the resident-led approach. So a lot of our digital ambassadors are HACLA, Section 8, and low-income residents that are helping their own communities navigate technology. As someone who is a HACLA resident and began as a digital ambassador in 2023 while I was completing my undergraduate degree at UCLA, I now became the program development coordinator for the program. And so I've been able to see firsthand how transformative this program can be, not only for the residents we serve, but those of us who build and guide it. So here we have our digital equity team in the back, Elsie Ramos, Ariane Young, Kevin Vega, as well as two of our brilliant digital ambassadors here today, Trinice Rogers and Adiel Monroy. And of course, also Ali from our Bridge the Digital Divide placement site, which is one of our most amazing partners. This work could not be done without all of you. So now I'll be asking Adiel Monroy some questions to kind of explain his experience with the program. So Adiel, why do you like serving as a digital navigator?
First of all, good afternoon, everybody. And one of the reasons why I really enjoyed serving as a digital navigator is because this role really allowed me to pretty much combine my passion for technology and my passion for helping people and really get to make a difference in people's lives by giving them the necessary digital skills that they need to thrive in today's world, which, as we all know, is growing more increasingly digital. There's online services and everything that are very essential. So something that I really enjoyed working as a digital navigator is definitely getting to see how people slowly but surely are building up those necessary skills to, really help them in their professional and in their personal lives.
So my name is Saber Johnson. I'm a general manager with our county internal services department. You heard from my boss a little earlier, Michael O. And our program is called Delete the Divide. It was started in 2021. Delete the Divide addresses the digital divide by, I call it a 360-degree approach. We do device distributions. We have a workforce element. We provide access to digital careers for residents from underserved communities or underrepresented communities, needing no experience to get immersive technology experience. We help small businesses with our digital marketing assessments, and we do device distributions. So today I have with me one of our, going on 2 years now, digital navigators and interns, Jesse Nolan. And Jesse, let me know what is it that you like about being a digital navigator?
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Jesse Nolan. I truly enjoy being a digital navigator because it has allowed me to meet people, build relationships, and impact lives in spaces that I probably never would have stepped into otherwise. It's kind of funny, the way that I became involved with Delete the Divide is kind of a right place, right time story. I was at a community event where I met a DTD manager who told me about the program, and then he also encouraged me to apply. So like you said, 2 years later, I did, and it's been one of the most rewarding decisions I've ever made. I've had the privilege of helping people of all ages, from different backgrounds and communities become more confident in navigating technology, especially those who are from marginalized communities. My work has taken me from supporting residents in county libraries to being a part of an externship with Oracle, where I was part of a team that helped develop a machine learning model for the county assessor's office. That machine learning model boosted their productivity with an efficacy rate of more than 85%. Following that project, I was able to lead another project for ISD and Delete the Divide in creating their data dashboard to showcase their impact in the community to stakeholders. But beyond the tech, it's the community impact. It's being able to assist in distributing over 300 laptops to families affected by the recent LA fires. It's those things that help show why we do this work, is to create change in people's lives, to create access, and to build hope.
Okay, so Adiel, what best practices do you incorporate to make your digital navigation sessions unique?
Yeah, so some of the best practices that I like to do when I'm doing workshop sessions as a digital ambassador is to really try to get to know the person that I'm helping through pretty much one-on-one sessions and casual conversation. There's pretty much a pretty big, factor that having good listening skills and good communication skills have when you're trying to teach someone something new about technology. And, casually conversing with them really helps me gauge what their comfort level is with technology. So that's something that I always like to incorporate whenever I'm doing a one-on-one session with a resident from Ramona Gardens, which is where I serve, and really get to know what their expertise level is, and from there build on that and help them, gain more digital skills, and slowly but surely see them making progress. It's really rewarding to see that progress that the residents make.
So Jesse, you mentioned that you work with people, all different types of people, different ages. And so what are some of the best practices that you've incorporated to make your sessions unique?
I've adopted 3 guiding pillars, which are connect, value, and experience. First, I like to build a connection that's meeting people exactly where they are in their digital journey, whether they're just starting out are already, confident or even advanced users. Meeting them and connecting with them exactly where they are on that level, on their level, allows me to build a space where people feel encouraged to learn rather than judged. And secondly, I emphasize value. I like everyone to leave understanding the importance of what it means to be a part of today's digital world, not just as a skill, but as a pathway to opportunities, to access, and to empowerment. Finally, I like to create an experience. I believe that learning should be memorable. And so when our sessions end, participants don't just leave with new knowledge, they leave having had a memorable experience that they can carry into their own lives and share with others. These three pillars are what make our sessions more than just lessons in technology, but moments of transformation.
Great. So the last question I have for you, Adiel, is what positive community impact and outcomes have you seen from your digital navigation sessions?
Right, so some of the positive outcomes and impacts I've seen through my time working as a digital ambassador would definitely be seeing how people slowly but surely start getting those digital skills. And through my time working at Ramona Gardens, I've seen firsthand how there's residents who would come in here. Some of them don't have a personal computer at home. And by the time that we're done, let's say 5, 6, 7 sessions in, they feel more comfortable with their typing skills, through typing class workshops. And another popular workshop that we would have at the Ramona Gardens Lab would be resume building. So there's also been one story in particular where this one lady came in and we worked on a resume together. And later on, she was happy to share that she actually managed to land a job interview with the resume that we both created together. So it's really nice to see the positive impact that the Digital Ambassadors Program is making, and hopefully will continue to make in the future.
And so, Jesse, one of the things that I say to the Delete the Divide team on a daily basis is let's go out and change lives and makes people happy. So what positive community impact and outcomes have you seen through your work as a digital navigator?
One of the most rewarding parts of being a digital navigator with Delete the Divide is being able to help people to overcome hurdles. I'll never forget this one community member at Baldwin Bethany Community Development. When she first started taking the Learn Basic Tech courses with us, she could not use a computer. She didn't have any tech skills. She couldn't open an email. She couldn't fill out a form. For everything she needed somebody to help her with, whether it was navigating her own computer or mobile device. But she made a commitment to herself. She stuck with our recommended courses, and over time, she became better and her confidence began to grow little by little. She enjoyed the classes that she was taking, and she not only became more independent with her own digital skills, she also became a tech advocate in her own community, encouraging people to come learn and grow as well. And I think that's one of the biggest impacts of Delete the Divide. It doesn't just stop with one person. It reaches families, neighbors, and entire communities. And initiatives like Delete the Divide are very important in today's society.
All right, thank you. So I think we are turning it over now to Dr. Rawls.
I want to say thank you very much to our HOCLA and DTD team. And I happen to know that Catherine has a great story. You want to share a little bit about your story, Catherine?
Sure. So my experience with the Digital Ambassadors Program initially began with just receiving a flyer at my front door, at Avalon Gardens. And I remember thinking that because my undergrad degree was focused on, English literature, that I wanted to find a way to get exposed to careers in technology. And I figured, enrolling would be the best way to do that. And when I joined the program, I realized that it really empowers participants to be creative, to explore different careers, and to kind of use what you can, like from what you know, and then just build on that. And as I finished my hours with the program, I found ways to contribute to the program, and then was able to become an administrative intern at HACLA to support with the program. Then later, administrative intern 2 to support with the expansion of the Digital Ambassadors Program, which is the Career Connect program. And then shortly, I left to become a HACLA Section 8 eligibility interviewer. And then I came back to serve as a program development coordinator for the program. So now I get to really use my experience as a digital ambassador to help guide those that are participants. And my favorite part has been to see all the amazing leaders across all of our communities and see them grow into amazing, wonderful leaders that love to support their community. Abiel being, one of them, Trinice being one of them, and then even seeing our interns that are still so passionate about supporting the digital divide, like Kelsey, Kevin, Ari. So I'm so appreciative of all of you and this space.
Thank you. Thank you. So she made my life easy for me. All of those ambassadors, digital navigators, can you just stand up for us? I know you're out there. I see you, Shanice. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I see the, stand up, y'all. I see y'all. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your wisdom with us. And please, let's go on with the program. Thank you, thank you. Now I would like, I have lots of microphones. Woo. While we set the stage, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, but I'm going to tell you about her first. In 2021, I was told that I was applying for the Connecting Minorities Community Grant. And as a good employee, that's exactly what I did. Well, I applied for that grant with not a whole lot of understanding about what it meant to close the digital divide. Of course, I had this basic knowledge. We're going to give out devices and we're going to teach people, but I didn't know what it meant. And I heard about this woman in Long Beach who was doing all of this work, Miss Rebecca Kauma. Come on and join us up here, Rebecca. And so I heard about Rebecca, and the first thing I heard was, she'll help you, don't worry. So I worried, and I called her up, and I was like, okay, so I'm supposed to learn about the digital divide. We just applied for this grant. Well, it was April 2022, and we were doing our first event to close the digital divide, and we were ready. Our interns were there, we were ready. We had a nice table at Michelle Obama Library, and the FCC website went down. So what that means is we were not actually able to do what we came there to do, which was to sign people up for the digital, internet services, for the Affordable Connectivity Program. See, she is still helping me get it right, folks, okay? So Rebecca says, it's okay. We can still tell people about the opportunities and the options, like don't let this stop you. And in that moment, a gentleman came up to one of our interns and said, what is this? As he held up a flash drive, and the intern immediately, a sociology student, was able to use her basic technical skills to explain what this was. And in that moment, she recognized, much like Catherine just explained, the power of sharing your knowledge with community. None of this would have been easy for me. It wasn't easy for any of us, right? Closing the digital divide is a huge thing, but Rebecca made it incredibly easier. And in that, we don't do that. We don't take speakers next to speakers. In that thread, I want to present Rebecca with our Collaborative Partnerships Excellence Awards for visionary leadership in the county and for bringing us all together in the manners that she always does to really do good work. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Hello? Okay, it works.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Rawls. I feel so honored to just continue to be in community with you all and to embark on this exciting new journey, which we'll be talking about momentarily. But just to give you guys some context on where we are going here as a county is that officially this past Tuesday, our County Board of Supervisors approved a motion for us to be able to create the first ever digital equity roadmap for the largest, most populous county, Los Angeles County. So let's give a round of applause to that. And I would like to take the time to say thank you very much to Supervisor Holly Mitchell for sponsoring the board motion, as well as to Supervisor Hilda Solis for co-sponsoring as well. So just to provide you guys with some context on the board motion, as I mentioned, this motion was officially approved this past Tuesday, and it did include some exciting directives, which I want to be able to elevate for everybody in the room today. First and foremost, as you've heard from Dr. Rawls, it is very important for us to collaborate across sectors. So the motion does include us working closely with some of our county-related agencies, as well as county departments, and also making sure that we're continuing to engage with you all as part of this process, and most importantly, making sure that we're uplifting our community ambassadors that will be serving in this role as well. So what is the Digital Equity Roadmap? So for context, it is a 3-year action plan for all of us to work together to be able to address the digital divide. And I would like to hone in on some key elements that will really uplift the framework of how this roadmap will be co-created. First and foremost, we want to make sure that this roadmap is asset-based. So we understand that many of you all are doing great digital equity activities and are doing a lot of programming, projects, and services for all of our residents. So we want to make sure that we're uplifting the work that's already happening in this room and making sure that we're building upon that for the roadmap. Secondly, we want to make sure that community is front and center. We understand that when we're working closely with communities, there are certain communities that are more disproportionately impacted by the digital divide. So how are we incorporating them as part of this approach and making sure that the solutions directly meet their needs? In addition to that, we want to make sure that we're data informed. We are doing a lot of great work around data. I want to give a shout out to my esteemed colleague, Eric Sasaki, who is leading our Digital Equity Needs Survey. So we're going to have a lot of robust input from that survey that will help us inform this work. But I also want to elevate the fact that many of you guys have perhaps maybe done your own community surveys as well. So feel free to bring that as we engage in this process as well. One of the other elements here is making sure that our work is equity driven. Equity needs to continue to be at the center of the work that we're doing. So making sure that all of our work around the digital equity roadmap is rooted in justice and fairness. And last but not least, making sure that we're working closely with multi-sector organizations and all of our different issue areas as well. So when we're looking at what does this vision look like long-term, you'll be able to see from the different screens in the room, you see that the Los Angeles County Digital Equity Roadmap is there front and center. But I want to mention the fact that I see this roadmap ultimately funneling into our strong and robust Los Angeles County digital equity ecosystem. I also want to take the fact to acknowledge that we have a lot of great organizations and partners that are also doing great work that contribute to this digital equity ecosystem. We have Liliana from LA Deal here. We also have Digital Equity LA. So all of that work is all integrated as part of our digital equity ecosystem. And ultimately, by us having our first ever digital equity roadmap, we'll be able to have some key elements rooted from that we hope to be able to expand on. First and foremost is making sure that we continue to have multi-sector collaboration. So how are we working together across sectors to ensure that our strategies are touching healthcare, education, housing, every single issue area. In addition to that, organizational capacity building. One of the biggest things that I learned when I started this role 2 years ago is that many organizations need additional resources to be able to support this work. So through the Intergovernmental Broadband Coordinating Committee, how are we still able to build capacity of you all and ensure that you guys have the tools and resources you need to continue this work? In addition to that, sustainable funding, I would say that is the biggest elephant in the room right now. And for those of you guys who aren't aware, This May, we actually heard that the federal government terminated the Digital Equity Act, and that included all of the funding, both federal and state. And we actually applied with many of you on this room for $25.6 million to be able to do this work across the county. And yes, it was very devastating, and it continues to break my heart knowing that we had so much effort and work put into that application. And many of my colleagues across the country as well also had to go through that heartbreak. But I'm also very encouraged and optimistic to have us reconvene and find other ways that we can build sustainable funding resources in this room. We have funders in this room. We have corporate organizations. There are many other avenues that we can look at to continue to fund this work, and that will also include sustainable funding. And then last but not least, we also want to make sure that we're looking at our issues from a cross-issue area standpoint that will ultimately feed into sustainable programs, resources, and services that serve the community needs. And you'll be able to see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. I did elevate some of our other issue areas, but I do want to mention that digital equity, yes, is its own issue area and it can stand by itself. But the beauty of digital equity is that we literally touch every single issue area. If you do not have equitable access to the internet, how are you going to do your education? If you don't have equitable access to a computer, how are you going to access healthcare? So we must continue to elevate this work across issue areas. And the next couple of segments that we have as part of this summit, you'll be able to hear from some amazing partners that will showcase what this looks like in practice to be able to elevate digital equity across the various issue areas. So please keep that in mind, and also look around the room today and see who is missing from this room that touches upon one of the issue areas here, and how can we include them as part of this process and journey we're going to be going through. So I do want to talk about some high-level outcomes here. I'm going to spotlight just a few, just because we have a short amount of time today. First and foremost, we want to be able to ultimately co-create strategies that are high impact, so that are going to have the most amount of community impact, but are also zero to low cost resource allocation. So how can we elevate strategies that don't cost a lot of money, but still allow us to have high impact in community? We also want to make sure that we're not duplicating any efforts. A lot of organizations here are doing great work. So as we're looking at strategies, we want to know who's doing what and how we can build upon that versus starting an entirely new program where someone's already doing that work. In addition to that, we also want to make sure that we are continuing to build the capacity, as I mentioned, of organizations. So we want to still have a creative approach to how we identify multi-sector grant funding opportunities. The one thing that I want to mention is that, yes, the Digital Equity Act was terminated, and yes, that was the primary source of funding for digital equity. However, there are other funding sources that are aligning digital equity with that particular other issue area. So for example, there are funding opportunities that focus on workforce development that you can align with digital equity, that focus on healthcare that you can also align with digital equity. So we're going to get very creative in terms of what does that look like and how we continue to elevate our work across different types of funding opportunities. So I want to talk about what this digital equity roadmap will look like, and I'll just quickly go over some of the key tiers and framework that will be incorporated. So obviously we will have a vision statement, and making sure that we all collectively work together to co-define what are our long-term digital equity aspirations for our community. We also want to make sure that we have guiding principles. So how do we establish key digital equity beliefs and values that ultimately shape what our decisions are? In addition to that, focusing on our goals. What are our outcomes of what needs to happen around digital equity within our community, our strategies, so how we're deploying action item activities throughout the county that focus on digital equity. This is another one of my favorite ones, are the community-driven solutions. So how are we prioritizing the direct lived experiences of our residents and incorporating their needs as part of our solutions? And how are we going to measure that our work is actually being effective? So what are the outcomes, the behaviors and conditions of digital equity efforts in the county? And then last but not least, we have outputs and assets. When we're looking at assets, this is something that will be part of our next activity, is making sure that we're really elevating the resources and strengths that currently exist within our ecosystem. So our strategic planning focus areas are going to be very broad. The one thing that I also want to mention is that oftentimes when people look at digital equity, they only think of broadband internet and they think that that is the sole focus area that you need to be able to address the digital divide. Yes, that is an element and that is correct, but there are so many other elements that are needed in order for us to truly be effective with advancing digital equity and inclusion within our region. And just to go ahead and underscore some of the key elements here, first and foremost, we obviously need to have the internet and we need to have robust broadband infrastructure that's rooted in that. We also need to have internet-enabled devices, and this is also very key because devices need to look differently depending on who is receiving them. So devices for older adults should look differently. Devices for students should also look differently. We also need to have multilingual and cultural relevant digital equity skills training. Hardware and technical support also need to be included in there. Dr. Rawlswood-Kinley, if I didn't mention this one, workforce development support services. And last but not least, we also need to have accurate, reliable, transparent broadband internet and data maps. So making sure that we're continuing to elevate the data that needs to be part of this work as we're going on this journey. So what is our timeline going to look like? So the one thing that I want to mention that this is subject to change, but this is just a high-level snapshot on what you guys can anticipate over the next few months. So we will be kicking off our first meeting, hopefully in December of this calendar year, so December 2025. And that would include us convening and co-creating a common agenda. So how are we overarchingly shaping our vision statement and our guiding principles and goals? That will all be done in that meeting. Then we'll take a little bit break because obviously the holidays are going to be coming up, and we'll reconvene again in January of 2026. And we will continue the work that we're going to be engaging in today. And that will also include us having an additional asset mapping activity for us to see what resources are available within our ecosystem and how can we continue to build upon that for the digital equity roadmap. In February, we'll then reconvene, and then we'll also have a conversation about digital equity strategies and really focusing on what strategies should be integrated as part of this roadmap, what is working, what is not working, and really diving into that. And then our last meeting, which will be in March of 2026, we'll be looking at digital equity funding strategies and really diving into who's funding what, how can we better work together on different applications, and how can we build capacity through funding resources within our region. So this slide is going to bring me joy, and I already gave her a shout out today, and I'm gonna do it again. But I'm just super excited for us because literally a week ago, we kicked off our first ever Digital Equity Community Ambassadors program. And the reason why this program brings me a lot of joy is that we were able to interview and bring on a total of 5 digital equity community ambassadors that span across our entire region here. And these community ambassadors are going to be sharing their ideas and lived experiences and ultimately helping us to shape what this digital equity roadmap should look like. And I just want to also uplift the fact that oftentimes residents are kept out of government decision-making processes, and we really want to be intentional with ensuring that those that are most impacted by the issue have a seat at the table as we're engaging in our decision-making. So as part of this process, we will be ensuring that they're sharing their best practices, their wisdom and lived experiences, and also making sure that we're including equity in this and also compensating them and honoring them for their time by providing them with a $50 and $25 gift cards, depending on the type of meeting. And we did have a total of 6 initially, but 1 is unfortunately unable to participate. But I would like to give a shout out to Maria Skelton again. She's over there in the back. So she came all the way from Van Nuys to be with us today. And she is one of our official Digital Equity Community Ambassadors. So if you can raise your hand, Maria, and let everybody see you. And thank you again for being here today. And we look forward to working with you as part of this process. So the next step that I have before I turn it over to one of my colleagues is to make sure that we have all of our stakeholders in this room, but also those who are not present with us here today, to ultimately become a member of IBCC and be part of this exciting new journey of us being able to co-create this digital equity roadmap together. So I encourage you all to please get involved, and we'll be sending out an interest form for you to be a part of this process. If you're not connected with the work that the county is doing already, I did include our email there. Please feel free to email me directly, and we want every single organization and person that's here within this room to be a part of this process. And again, look to see who's not in this room. And if any of your colleagues were not able to be here today, please nudge them and encourage them to be part of this exciting process. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my next, oops, things freezing there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to my colleague, Sean Duarte, who will be leading us in our exciting collaborative asset mapping activity. And as she's making her way up here, she is with HRNA Advisors, and this is the official consulting firm that we're working with to help us co-create our digital equity roadmap. And we are in for a treat because Sean actually led the efforts to help create the state of California's digital equity plan. So let's give her a round of applause, and I'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see everybody here. And in true Rebecca fashion, she just kicked off a strategic planning process, and now we're going to hop into an activity to start implementing that strategic process. As she mentioned, my name is Sean Darty. I'm with HRNA Advisors. I also want to point out my colleague, Gina Marie Will, one of our senior analysts, is here as well. And this part of the day, for the next 20 minutes or so, you're going to be talking amongst the individuals and your colleagues at your tables. So we're going to start off with kind of an asset mapping exercise. And this was really the first key element that Rebecca had just mentioned in her strategic planning process. And, up here on the screen, we have a very, I think, technical term or technical definition for what asset mapping is. But really, it's just gathering information and identifying, like, what are the programs, what are the services, what are the people, what are the organizations that we have in the county, and there's a lot of them, who are doing this work, who are leaders in this community. And we want to bring it all together so we make sure that we're collecting as much information as possible, and that we're clearly identifying all the resources that exist. And so to be able to clearly identify the ecosystem that exists in LA County. And, some of the benefits of doing this work, I think a lot of people already understand that, right? The more that we understand and the more that we're able to acknowledge the organizations and the work being done, we can uplift, we can create capacity, we can grow, we can scale, we can identify opportunities for growth and alignment and partnership. I've heard a lot about, Dr. Rawls mentioned collaboration, right? Collaboration is a big part of this work. So through this asset mapping exercise, that's what we really hope to accomplish. And is it? Okay, so here's the actual activity. So in front of you on the table, you'll notice that there's a couple sticky notepads. There's also pens, there's Sharpies. We encourage you to actually use the Sharpies. And then there's a larger white sticky note. And at the top, if you unfold it, you'll notice it says asset mapping at the top. So for the next, 15 minutes or so, when we're kind of going around the room, what we would like for you to do is on each of those smaller sticky notes is to say, like, what is the name of the organization? What are the services they provide? And does that have like a programmatic name? Is it LA County Delete the Divide, and they do device distribution as kind of an example? Start first with the organizations that you represent so we can accurately capture everybody who's in this room, and then identify other organizations, other programs, other entities that are doing this work. We'd rather have one organization on 5 different pads as opposed to them not being recognized at all. So I know in the room we have everyone on. We have Human IT, we have CETF. I'm just looking around. We have a lot of practitioners in this room. And so we want to make sure that we capture all of this. When we talk about services, kind of at that bottom there, it's a little bit small at the bottom, type of assets. So this is like the types of services they provide. Do they do adoption services, connecting households to low-cost internet? Do they do device distribution programs or hotspot programs? Do they conduct digital literacy and skills training? Hardware, software, technical supports, all of that. I think something new that we're talking about, but that is so important, is cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. And then also getting into some of those outcome areas. Do they happen to work in education? Is it a digital literacy training program focused on healthcare? Lots of work being done there. So we're going to take the next 15 minutes or so, add as many names to those sticky notes, add as many names to the bigger white sticky pad, so we can start capturing all of the assets that exist and serve the people of LA County. I see lots of colored paper out there. I see lots of handwriting. So thank you for everybody for taking these 15 minutes to get to know your colleagues better, to begin to implement the planning process. As a reminder, this is just the first of many opportunities to engage in this work. I don't know if we have anybody out there that might want to raise their hand and kind of talk about some of the assets. You don't have to go over everything that you have listed on your sheet, or identify some of the organizations and the work. I don't know if there's any volunteers. I know I was going to say, or I might pick. Thank you. Yeah.
Cristal.
Hello.
Yes.
I guess I'll just name my organization. So I'm a funder, or we're with Michelson Philanthropies, and we fund local and state policy advocacy and community broadband projects. So happy to be here. And then we put a bunch of the great partners in the room that have been past grantees as well, but I won't list all of them. I'll let them speak for themselves. Chirla, we've supported them a few years now, and they're doing really great work to connect the community, in addition to all the other great things we're doing.
Just talk about that. Well, one of our partners here with the Building Skills Partnership, I've been talking with her all morning, and what they're doing with actually what? I can't do it justice.
Yes, so hello. I'm from Building Skills Partnership. My name is Julie Aguilar. I'm based out of Orange County, but we have offices from Sacramento to San Diego. We are a training fund that is paired with SEIU USWW. So we were born out of the Justice for Janitors movement. So our primary folks that we are in the union that we work with are monolingual Spanish speakers, 40 years old plus. So we have a lot of digital skills classes that are in English and in Spanish on the most basic stuff, using like digital literacy for learning how to use computers, mobile banking, knowing how to be safe online. We have computer labs in all of our 7 offices, including device lending libraries that includes Chromebooks and hotspots for people to be able to participate in all of our classes. We do a lot of workforce development, and that is where we get a lot of our money from, tying digital skills into workforce development. So we have like supervisory courses that we're working with West LA College to do. Those are also remote hybrids. So being able to give our students those devices and hotspots so they can take those classes is really important. We do things like have Google certifications, Excel digital skills classes. And we also partner with the employers of these janitorial companies. And we say, hey, we know that your workers are having a hard time learning how to use ADP or Paycom. So we create customized curriculum for them, so then we can teach folks how to clock in and clock out on these digital apps, how to be able to, ask for a vacation and things like that. And then we also have office hours at all of our computer labs. We do in-person and virtual digital skills classes. And yeah, we have like different like AI certifications and workshops, like knowing how to use AI for building a resume and cover letter. So that's Building Skills Partnership. Thank you.
I'll turn it back over to you, Sean. Thank you.
No, thank you. That was a wonderful.
One more.
Sorry.
Hi. Hi, I'm from the Wangari Select YMCA. I'm going to represent the Best Buy Teen Tech Center. One of the great things that the Best Buy gives us in the grant form, it is a space open for 12 to 18 years old. Currently, I believe there's 20 of those in LA. One of the things that we want to highlight is youth workforce development. So we do it by providing a space where the youth can access technology that they would not rather have usually. So that goes from high digital quality cameras to computer lab to a music studio, podcasting studio, and having them interact with this technology in order to develop skills that they can pursue once they leave high school. So.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Sean, to close out this activity.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We're going to be collecting all of the sticky notes and all of the white, large sticky notes and compiling all of that into our initial asset mapping database for the roadmap process. Just as a reminder, this is the email to sign up to participate in the process going forward over the coming months. And for anybody who might be online, it's workforce@csudh.edu. Please send in your thoughts. And as Rebecca mentioned, it's not necessarily just who is in the room, but who's also missing. Who else can we invite to be part of this conversation? Invite your colleagues, invite your friends. And this is going to be community built and community based. So thank you very much for participating. And I believe I'm turning it over to Dr. Rawls.
As you have noticed today, we have had an amazing list of speakers, all community members, and it's not over yet. We do have some partners coming up now. I would like to introduce, I know Oscar's coming up. I would like to introduce Oscar from Everyone On, so that Oscar Magana, Oscar Magana from Everyone On. And take it away, Oscar. Tell us all the good stuff.
So as Everyone On Senior Program Manager, I have the pleasure of overseeing our partnerships and programs across LA County. One of those programs is the Digital Skills Academy, which is a program that consists of a basic digital skills program. It has an intro to artificial intelligence, workplace essentials. It has digital equity advocacy and our mobile banking essentials program. All of these curriculums are programs that are intended for underserved community members, specifically adults who have no to little digital skills. So our Mobile Banking Essentials program is a 2-module curriculum that focuses on cybersecurity fundamentals. Sorry. And the practical application of mobile banking. The goal of the program is to continue building confidence in learners so that learners new to technology who are hesitant about mobile banking. If you think about our communities, what's prevalent in our communities are businesses like check cashing places or loan for payment advancement, right? So it covers real world tools. A lot of times folks are hesitant to use these programs, but it covers real world tools like password managers, how to spot scams, and applications like Google Calendar, something that we take for granted, that will help them manage things like paying their bills on time. The participants practice secure mobile banking and budgeting using free and accessible tools. And the format is hands-on and paced for adult learners. And we reinforce it with optional learning opportunities that can deepen that learning at home through resources that are readily available online. So this program directly advances digital equity by focusing on the intersection of digital access and financial inclusion. The participants, often immigrants, older adults, and the communities that are specifically impacted by digital redlining, are often skeptical about banking due to past harms and fears. Through a scaffolded instruction and trust building, participants develop the skills to manage money more securely. In short, we give them the tools to reclaim digital spaces that traditionally our communities have been left out of. The impact of the program is tangible. So learners leave the program leaving more in control of their digital lives, many of them for the first time. One participant recently shared with us that they now remind their partner every time that they're online and they're clicking on links to make sure that those links are not phishing scams. Another participant recently shared that she uses Google Sheets directly with her child so that they can plan their savings and they can plan for the future and even financial responsibility, right? So one of the things that is very important to us is that a lot of times our participants will tell us that because of the life that they live, because of the children that they support, they can't immediately start saving money. They can't immediately, pay off their credit card debt. And one of the things that one of our participants recently said is like, hey, maybe we can't, but we can start teaching that to our children. So the curriculum isn't just about teaching skills, it's about building agency. Participants will often become digital advocates for their own families and their communities. And this is how digital equity is showing up on the kitchen table and not just in policy. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Jamie Fernandez.
Hi, everyone. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Jamie Fernandez. I'm a family medicine doctor at Altamed. Has anybody heard of an Altamed clinic? Yes, okay, good. Hopefully we have some good Altamed patients here as well. Has anybody here done any virtual telemedicine with your provider? Good. Okay, how easy was that experience for you? Good. Okay, positive. You got to stay home. Okay, let me ask this question. How many of you have either helped a parent or someone else access healthcare through digital? Yes, I love that. Guess what? All of you are digital navigators. Just by doing that one sense. Yes, give yourselves a rare round of applause. So at Altamed, we are very fortunate to have an all-star IT team. We are an Epic shop, which means we use Epic as our electronic health record. And for the past 2 years, we've been given the 10 stars, meaning we are the top, we have the technology, the top 3% of all their users. So that means that we have the same capabilities as a UCLA Health and as a Cedars, which I think that's equity in itself. Oh, perfect. Here we go. Yes. So here's Altamed. Having the capability, right, is equity itself. The other thing I want to highlight is, so Altamed has 67 plus sites in Southern California, in Los Angeles and Orange County. We serve mostly Medicaid, Latinos patients. 40% prefer an English, a language other than English. Majority Spanish is their preferred language. So I want to talk to you all about digital navigation. And when we think about digital navigation, we traditionally think about, somebody at the house, somebody there standing next to you, the way all of you were standing next to your family member and actively helping them log on to a platform. Now at Altamed, we like to push the boundaries, just like all you here. So I trained at Harbor UCLA, which is an LA County hospital, and I realized, a lot of the patients that came to see me didn't even know what telemedicine was. So I started thinking, maybe it's the words that I'm saying, because I would ask my patients in Spanish, ¿Quieres enseñarte cómo usar el portal? Do you want to teach yourself can I teach you how to use the healthcare portal? And they would look at me with this face like, what? And I realized the word portal doesn't translate in Spanish, right? What is it? Maybe portal, maybe like something to go into space or something. So it made sense that my patient said, no, I'm not interested in that. So I ended up trying different things. I got up to the point where I would say, oh, you know what? We're going to draw your lab results, but why don't you I'll send you a message on WhatsApp with your results. All of a sudden, everybody was like, oh, doctor, you're on WhatsApp? What? How can I communicate with you there? And I got so much more excitement. So then I would say, yes, I myself am not on, my WhatsApp is called the healthcare portal. And at that point, it didn't matter what it was called. They got the purpose. And I share this story to share that the person who introduces the technology and the way we introduce the technology is just as important as if the technology works. So at Altamed, we'd made an experiment. I had 2 pilots, one with a 24-year-old MPH student who spoke English only, and I wanted to test whether or not it would matter if this patient proposed a healthcare portal in the clinic alongside me, or if they themselves went into the waiting room and proposed the healthcare clinic. My hypothesis was that if a physician were to endorse the use of a healthcare portal, for instance, if I as a doctor were to prescribe the healthcare portal the same way I prescribe medicine, they would be more likely to use it. So what we saw in this clinic, we had two students, one who was in the clinic with me, one that was in the waiting room. The one that was in the clinic with me, actually 80% of the patients actually signed up for the healthcare portal. Now keep in mind, this was an English-speaking only patient, English-speaking only navigator, right? So what we're trying to highlight here is some of the learning points that we're highlighting is that maybe what we're missing in this digital equity sphere is that pitch. Is how can we engage healthcare professionals to be part of this digital equity journey with us? So they're not just saying, oh, you have a problem, talk to this person, but you have uncontrolled diabetes. I want you to stay up to date with your test values. And I want you to use that healthcare portal. And next time I see you, we're going to look at the portal together and see what questions you have. And next time and if this doesn't work, I'm going to teach you how to do this. So it's a new way that I like to call the provider mindset. And that is what we are using at Altamed to make everyone, all of our employees, digital navigators, is a new sense of proposing. And there you go, Altamed's digital navigator mindset. So I'll be here if anybody has any questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Tapion-Nate, and I'm Alliance for a Better Community Senior Communications and Policy Coordinator. It's really great to be here with you all today, and I'm really excited to share more about our digital skills and digital equity advocacy trainings. But first, who is ABC? So Alliance for a Better Community is a policy and advocacy organization focused on issues that impact Latinos and Latinas, including education, health, civic engagement, economic prosperity, and we know digital equity touches all of these issues. We do work all over LA County, but our offices are in downtown Los Angeles. So a little bit about our advocacy training trainings within digital equity. So these are 4-week training sessions for parents with a focus on Southeast Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley region. Our goal here is to build digital equity champions through digital skill development and advocacy training and digital literacy. And this work is made possible with our partners at Everyone On, who help lead half of these trainings, teaching our community members about computer fundamentals, how to navigate the internet, how to create a Gmail account, and most importantly, to store their Gmail password so that their children do not have to come help unlock their email every week. And ABC leads our digital equity and advocacy portion. We cover topics such as what is the word equity, trying to demystify these terms, and what's equality, the importance of the internet and how it impacts many of our daily touch points. What is advocacy? And how do we incorporate digital skills into policy and advocacy? So right now, we're primarily serving Spanish-speaking parents of public school students and ages 30 through 70. So we have a wide age range. And so how are we advancing digital equity? So do this in many ways, but I want to highlight two. We're strengthening digital skills so our community members can access essential services and information online, such as supporting their child's education, managing their healthcare using virtual tools like what was presented by Altamed, and utilizing digital tools to support their own community advocacy efforts. But we're also empowering community advocacy. A lot of our participants join the sessions and they don't know what advocacy is, don't know that they can go to their local city council meeting. But here we're teaching them how to advocate for digital equity issues, both at the local and state levels. And we're also empowering them to encourage other members of their community to become advocates. So we have a señora join our program, and then she tells her neighbor, her comadre, and then we have the whole family here becoming advocates, not just in digital equity, but touching on the very intersecting issues. And our program graduates are making an impact by, again, advocating for digital equity policies and amplifying community voices, specifically in underconnected neighborhoods with historically limited internet service access. You'll see some pictures here on the screen of some advocates that graduated from our programs that we've brought to state level meetings. They're also leveraging their digital skills for intersecting issues to advocate for healthcare, education, and economic opportunity in their communities. And most importantly, we're growing leaders who champion digital equity issues in their community and empower others to do so. So thank you all so much for having me. If you want to chat more about our work, you can find me and we can set up a meeting.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chris Jefferson. I'm from the YMCA, and normally I would sing the Village People song for you, but it's been a little tainted lately. So I'll come back in 3.5 years, we'll sing it, and we will celebrate the restoration of that $25 million, all right? So I want to talk about the YMCA's Youth Institute and our annual film festival. This is a free year-round workforce development program for teens across LA County that empowers them through technology, through creativity, and through leadership. Each summer, it culminates in our annual film festival, which is a celebration of youth voice and talent from all across Los Angeles. The Youth Institute was originally founded by the YMCA of Greater Long Beach in 2001, and it expanded to the LAY in 2012. Today, we operate sites and have over 1,000 alumni, and we are expanding to South Central LA in 2026. What makes this program extremely special is our staff members. Every single one of them, from directors to instructors to counselors, they are all former teenagers in this program. And there's a table full of them back there who all graduated, and now they are employees of the Y. They cost me about $500,000 a year, but it's well worth it. They were a lot cheaper when they were teenagers, just so you know. Let me go to the next slide here. Oh, it's fancy. All right, hold on. There we go. So one of the core values of our Youth Institute and our film festival is really advancing digital equity. And Outside of their cell phones, we know that many teens lack consistent access to technology, so we removed that barrier completely. They gain hands-on experiences with state-of-the-art tools like 3D printers, digital cameras, sound mixing equipment, professional design software. They also design their own digital magazines, they produce short films, and they explore careers throughout the industry, including behind-the-scenes tours at places like Cosm LA and Nickelodeon Studios. The program begins with something very unexpected, which is a week-long wilderness retreat. We take the entire group, a few hundred teens, up to the mountains, no phones, no screens, no technology, and we build trust, teamwork, and leadership. And most importantly, the key aspect to this program is belonging and giving teens that sense of belonging. And then from there, we dive into production, we dive into digital creation, and by the end of the program, 96% of our participants report higher self-confidence, a stronger sense of belonging, and improved workforce readiness. It is digital equity in action, not just access to tools, but to opportunities. And lastly, our annual film festival, it doesn't just build skills, it builds community. We actually were gifted a movie theater where our kids got to show their films in a real theater with real popcorn and concessions, all free for their families. We had capped out the entire space, filled out the entire auditorium, and then we walked outside and there were another 120 people trying to get in. And so, of course, we let them in. We didn't tell the fire marshal. Y'all keep that a little secret here. But from YMCA board members, educators, donors, partners across Los Angeles, they celebrate teen creativity. They celebrate the power of storytelling. And we do not control the narrative. This is youth voice. And so they tell a range of stories from comedies about a lost hamster named Hamster to powerful social narratives about family separation, substance abuse, immigration, the dangers of impaired driving. Each story reflects their experience and how they interpret the world. But the impact doesn't stop at that festival. Teens lead with tangible skills that lead to real-world opportunities. They have been hired to photograph weddings, design graphics, edit videos. They've done podcasts and made money off YouTube and other social networks. And at the end of the summer, each and every teen that participates, the YMCA gives them a stipend, a cash stipend, so that we can make a first investment in their future. It paid off. I got a table full of amazing directors back there. I hope that you will come talk to them afterwards to learn about this amazing program. And I just appreciate this opportunity and thank you all so much.
I think battery fell behind the stage.
Looks like we lost the battery to our clicker. I am going to ask Nicole Picata to come on up here and join me, and I will get the battery from behind the stage, husband, and get this clicker working in a minute. While Nicole comes on up and joins us here, I do want to acknowledge Dr. Lexi Davis, who is not able to be here with us. We're very sorry that she fell ill today, so she won't be able to join us to talk about our next section. And also, I want to mention my daughter, Chanel. She's out there watching us in live stream land. Today's her birthday, so she wanted me to promise to say happy birthday. Thank you, thank you. So here we go. That's me. I'm Dr. Crystal Rawls. I'm going to be facilitating this session. Dr. Lexi, of course, is not able to join us, but we are joined by Nicole Picata, who is a strategic business advisor from the Division of Apprenticeship Standards. You've heard a lot about how we're building these opportunities, and you've heard from our HOCLA people, our DTD people, how, and our YMCA people, how we start as interns and then work our way up. That's the pathway, right? And the Division of Apprenticeship Standards is one of our partners in building pathways. So I'm going to grab a mic. and Nicole and I are going to have a chat. A chat. So Nicole, tell us a little bit about the Division of Apprenticeship Standards and what it is you do.
So thank you. First, thank you very much. You know, you and I have been talking about this for some time, for quite a time. And I also have to say before anything, I'm a Toro. Once a Toro, always a Toro. Go Toros. So I am a strategic business advisor with the Division of Apprenticeship Standards. I work to address workforce needs. And if anybody knows the difference, just by a show of hands, can you tell me, by a show of hands, can you identify the differences between an internship and an apprenticeship? There we go. Okay, so today in our conversation, I would like someone to come out understanding the differences. And one of the differences is that an apprenticeship, which I help develop, partner, do collaborations, conversations, and it takes some work, but it's loving, enjoying work. I do enjoy having these conversations. We partner to identify workforce procedures and curriculum. Those two joined together, along with a wage, equates an apprenticeship. So the difference is, in an internship, you may have a stipend. Also another difference is, in an internship and an apprenticeship, there is a much deeper development and collaboration. The collaboration and the partnerships goes deep. It goes deep. It involves workforce boards, community-based organizations, the state in order to register, and the state has funding out there. I connect with funding, grading funding. Community-based organizations are important. And those are the conversations that I begin with. I want to show community-based organizations already what they're doing can lift up to an apprenticeship that is going to not only introduce an individual to a career, but open a career path. And that's what I do.
Well, that's what she does, y'all. All right, so we have a couple of questions, right? How can partnerships strengthen regional talent pipelines? And so one thing I can mention here is that several of our partners, like Goodwill, for example, and Workbay, actually hire their interns. That is one way we can strengthen our partnerships, right? Partner with your campus, have interns. Can my interns stand up, Elizabeth and Joseph? I told you I was shouting you out, y'all. And now let me correct my language, because they are no longer interns. They are graduates of my program, and they are now employed at different agencies that pulled them in. And so can you tell us more, Nicole, about how our partnerships can strengthen? Like, I know we're doing some work with related supplemental instruction.
Yes. So, okay. The other thing I failed to mention is that an apprenticeship, you come out with a credential, and that credential is portable. Oftentimes we're partnering with the federal government as well. So you often have portable nationwide as well as through California. So the partnership, it strengthens, as I said, because you have that portable credential and that related supplemental instruction, what we call RSI. I don't like to use always these acronyms because that's also important, communication and understanding the differences in acronyms from every stakeholder. As an example, when we partner with our education partners, oftentimes we call them the LEA, the local educational agency. And that can be, and it should be, a host of partners, not just at the CSU and the UCs, but also involving the community colleges, also reaching down into the high schools. Because regionally, if we don't start strengthening our partnership today in the high schools, what are we going to have tomorrow? So I think that it's important. You're not just reaching the educators, you actually have to reach the students. You have to reach the parents and inform them. And that's why a regional approach works, because it's information.
Thank you. And now Dr. Lexi was going to walk us through this slide. So I want to make sure that you see it. And I know I'm not going to do as good a job as Dr. Lexi would have done. But I am going to encourage you to reach out to her. We will have her information available to you as guests. But I want you to take a quick look at this slide, right? It's everyone. It's all of us. Top level, our policy folks. We have policy folks in the room. Coordination, strategic planning. And they say bottom level, but when you look at that level, right, you look at how big that is, service delivery and implementation. The people on the ground, the people doing the work, making it happen. And so this is a really beautiful slide, and it shows a lot about the ecosystem. Can you shed a little more light on this for us, Nicole?
I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you see it in print, because this is actually what happens. These are the people that I get to speak with. And having these individuals in the rooms, who don't I see there? You know who I don't see? I do see EDD. Veterans also. I want to put veterans up there because that's important as well. We're working with younger and younger veterans coming out, and making sure that they're able to transition into workforce is also going to be important. But I can definitely tell you a lot about this. From the top, our governor has a goal of 500,000 registered apprentices by the year 2029. Right now, we're about 97,000. So we are going to make that. We're going to reach that. That's servicing. We're also streamlining not just apprenticeships, registered apprenticeships, but through this model, we're also making sure those pre-apprenticeships, and that's where that digital equity comes, and giving people that foundation. I have to say, if I must say, as I said, I was once a Toro, always a Toro. If in the audience out there, Dean McNutt and Anissa, if Anissa is out there, as a program director for OLLI, OSHA Lifelong Learning Institute, FON, she might be out there right now as a former director. I had to transfer those digital skills and show through andragogy that learning skills for older adults. When COVID happened and we had to shut down, an in-person program had to go online. Some of my seniors did not have access. And that's why I give shouts out to Anissa, who not only prepared me digitally as I was working there, but that gave me ample opportunity to go into the state to start advocating for this, to making sure that pre-apprenticeship programs have a solid foundation when building it. If someone only has access to a phone, right, how is that going to give them that equity? So the community-based programs that I'm working with make sure in our conversations we talk about this. We seek funding, whether it's from philanthropical agencies, whether it's tying in veteran services, whether it's going through youth program. By the way, I do sit on the IACA Homeless and Foster Youth subcommittee, so that's another passion of mine. So whether it's advocating for youth, it's here. And that is what that ecosystem, I call it a landscape. Just think about these road stops that you're going to be going away as you're driving along the apprenticeship landscape in California.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Nicole, especially for helping us sort out the difference. It's not always intuitive to everyone between internship, apprenticeship, right? We always use so much jargon, but at the root of this is digital equity. It's really hard to be able to participate in any of these opportunities if you can't get online. So I want to first I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
So when I walked out of Dominguez to take the job at the state, I turned around and said, we're going to do it here. And Dr. Rawls has been, right? She's been my wing. And when conversations won't move, she's still there. She's still supporting me so I can continue. And to bring it back to my community, I'm a Toro. I want to see this community succeed. And I appreciate the things you do. I was with you one day at the Michelle Obama, and I saw the students and what they were doing, and I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. And this is almost the end. We're going to let you guys go home. We are. I want to introduce, thank you so much, Nick. I want to introduce Jermaine Hampton from our Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation.
Thank you, Dr. Rawls. Appreciate it. Give it up one more time for Dr. Rawls and for Rebecca as well for putting this great event together. And then also for all yourselves for coming, and also obviously CSU Dominguez Hills for hosting us. So a few things. Let me get away from that. That's not gonna work. So a few things. I'm gonna do some calls of action here and kind of just round out some things, but also want to give some examples of collaboration is what we want to kind of discuss a little bit before we let you go. And so my name is Jermaine Hampton. I'm the Vice President of Workforce Development and Strategic Initiatives with the LAEDC. That's the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation. We are also the partners for LA Deal, which is the Los Angeles Digital Equity Action League in partnership with our friends at Unite LA. And so we very much believe in digital inclusion, digital equity, and closing the digital divide here across LA County. One thing when it comes to collaboration, so there's a couple different things that are happening across the region right now. LAEDC is the regional convener for a program called California Jobs First. Many of you have probably heard of that program. It's Governor Newsom's program, and it's been going on for about 3 years now. We're the regional convener for LA County. There's actually 13 regions across California that all have a regional convener. We are doing this in partnership with California Community Foundation, and the work has been going great. But the main thing with this partnership and with this initiative is collaboration. And I want you to kind of take some of these tools that I'm going to give you in terms of what we've been able to do through California Jobs First, and think about how you can apply it to some of the things that you've heard today, to the strategic plan that we're going to be engaging in here today, and then all of our collective work moving forward. So 2 core things that happen with California Jobs First outside of bringing together 800 partners all across LA County. We're talking about from Long Beach all the way up to Antelope Valley, right? We're talking about all 88 cities, all 100 plus unincorporated areas have representation in the CJF program. That collaboration has created a couple different things. One, we developed a regional plan. Regional set of strategies and goals aligned with our priority sectors across LA County. Our priority sectors are everything from bioscience to aerospace to clean and renewable energy, right? To transportation and logistics, healthcare, construction, right? Many of these different industries that you hear about all the time, but these are the ones that are driving equitable growth here in LA County, and they're actually driving good paying living wage opportunities across the region. And the digital inclusion aspect all bleeds into those different priority sectors. And the reason why I bring this up and the reason why this regional plan is important is because right now, as it stands, that regional plan was submitted to the EDA, and it's now a comprehensive economic development strategy covering all of LA County. The reason why that is important is because it has community feedback. It has living experience feedback. It has data supported different types of collaborative events that we've had, forums, surveys, all of this wonderful information all put into a digestible format for everyone to be able to leverage. So any community-based organization, any individual, they can leverage this regional plan and they can go after state or federal funding. This is important because this lends back to the strategic plan for digital equity that we're going to be working on. Another key piece to this project is the $9 million in funding that we've given out to community-based organizations as a result of this regional plan and this initiative. This $9 million, we've actually provided this funding to 26 organizations across all of LA County. So it's a very equitable approach to actually funding our community partners. And those partners have multiple different types of individuals and businesses that are working with them on those projects, right? And so these projects are really about exploratory, working together with community members and developing good jobs for Angelenos. Another big piece that came out of this is we're going to be actually attracting $24 million in funding to support bioscience, right? All of this, again, came out of the California Jobs First program. So we're going to be developing and building out the ecosystem here for bioscience. The reason why that's important, it's a priority sector here in LA County, right? And we are primed for growth in that particular sector. Another good thing for folks here, especially those of you that may be students or have students in your household, Those jobs pay a living wage. An entry-level certificate can get you a job making $90,000 plus in the bioscience industry, but a lot of folks don't know about the bioscience industry. And I'll tie this back in a second to why this is important to digital equity and inclusion. So those are just two examples of how you can take strategic planning, regional plans, data, information, community feedback, living experience, put it into a digestible format, into an actual plan that you then implement, right? And then drive solutions and then funding to fund those solutions and strategies in the community. The connection when you're thinking about digital equity, and then I'll get to the kind of call to action. Digital equity is more than just internet access. It's about economic mobility. Our data shows that nearly 1 in 5 households in LA County still lacks reliable broadband or the skills to fully participate in today's digital economy. Now think about what I just told you, right? If you have connectivity issues in your household, if you're not able to tap into internet services, right? If you're digitally illiterate, right? And you don't have the necessary skills to be able to understand different things that you're seeing online, how can you even know about bioscience? How can you know about the different opportunities across our region? I'll answer for you, you won't, right? You'll be left behind. And that's exactly the opposite of what we're trying to do. We don't want to leave any Angelinos behind. We want to make sure that folks have access, equitable access to different pathways, opportunities from a workforce development standpoint, from a digital access standpoint, and much more so that they can contribute and have economic mobility. So that is why all the programs you've heard about today are so important. And so the call to action is very simple. Let's not let this be a one-day conversation. Let's continue building together across sectors, across cities, across systems to ensure Los Angeles County becomes a national model for digital opportunity and inclusive economic growth, okay? Join the Los Angeles County Digital Equity Roadmap strategic planning process. You heard about it today. Engage in it. Go back. Tell someone. Tell a friend. Bring more people to the table. Figure out who's missing in this room and let's also get them at the table. Align your programs, share your data, connect your networks. Because when we work as one, when education, industry, and community move in the same direction, we don't just close gaps, we open doors. Together, we are building an economy and a digital future for all. Thank you. Y'all can go home.
Thank you all for coming. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy your afternoon.